I'm just curious about the cylindrical cases these soldiers carry around their necks. This was posted to my World War II modeling group, and they can't come to a consensus. People have guessed map cases, gas masks, and emergency food rations, but there is no agreement. Any ideas? They're 60mm mortar round tubes. They were distributed with the troops during operations. Once the soldier got onto the beach, or whatever the objective was, it would be dumped on the ground, and the soldiers of the mortar platoon would collect them together to be fired. No one wants to run around in a firefight with a mortar strapped to the front of them for longer than they have to. And it's still done to this day. I was infantry, and when we went out with mortar guys, we were all carrying a couple of mortars in our rucks. What is this wooden handle metal loop? It plugs into the wall and is stamped with Pioneer Electric 500 watt, 120 volt and model 622. Any ideas? It's a charcoal starter. Kevin used this on the door handle in Home Alone, so you can use it for starting a grill or home defense. What is this circular thing common outside of homes in Hawaii? I'll admit I do not know really anything else about the thing. I imagine it serves some sort of necessary function for the house and is not something like a pool, for example. I am entirely unsure of how better to describe this circular item I see on pictures of properties in Hawaii. Any ideas? Looks like a water catchment system. Basically, the gutters feed the water into a tank which normally has a liner inside to keep the water clean. The water is then pumped from the water catchment tank into your home using a pump and pressure tank in most cases. The water is then run through a couple of simple filters, usually a string filter, and then a smaller micron filter. If you plan on drinking the water, a UV filter system is commonly used at the end of this system, before the water enters the home. What is this brass peacock candle holder looking thing? My wife found these on the freebie table at her work and brought them home. I cannot confirm that it is brass, but it certainly seems like brass. Also cannot confirm that it's a peacock, but again, certainly looks like a peacock. It can unscrew and come apart at the trays, but can really only fit back together in the original configuration. My gut instinct was that they were some kind of incense holder. It really appears that it's been used as an ashtray of any sort. But I know you can clean up brass really nicely. There are no maker marks visible anywhere. Any ideas? It's a peacock folding dia, an oil lamp with a cotton wick and dipped in oil or clarified butter. These lamps are commonly used in the Indian subcontinent and may hold sacred prominence in Hindu, as well as religious rituals, ceremonies and festivals including Diwali, a Hindu festival of lights. What are these brown metal bars with a circular bulge in the middle, sticking up out of this fence here? Behind my apartment complex, there's this fence with these odd metal protrusions on them. They look like they might be structural for support, but I'm not entirely sure. I have no idea how to describe them better. It's an anchor or tieback system for the retaining wall. The I-beams are known as shoring piles, and the wooden planks between are called lagging. The tiebacks are installed to ensure a certain amount of lateral load is applied to prevent movement. This entire system is typically meant to be temporary, and a retaining wall would normally be constructed in front of this shoring system. I am a geotechnical consultant and design these among other things for a living. What is this thing made of wood about half a pound and has a very slightly tacky residue on the back? There's a wheel at the bottom that still spins, and there is F991-167 stamped on it. There's a metal piece on the back and seems like maybe a sticker was used over the tacky part. I tried a Google search with the letters, but literally nothing came up. Any idea what is it for? They are called shuttle blocks. It's a device designed to distribute yarn on a shuttle bobbin evenly and automatically. It's part of a larger device that weaves by transporting the shuttle along the curved track. What is this structure in an Airbnb room in Slovenia, in the Bled region? Roughly 1.7 meters tall. And I couldn't find any holes or openings around this thing. Is it just a design or does it serve a purpose? It's called a masonry heater, also known as a ceramic heater or a tiled stove. They're a common historic feature in Central Europe, and pretty common in big old houses in that region. Children would sleep next to them for warmth in the old days. Traditionally, they go up to a smoking chamber in the eaves where you would hang meat or fish. These heating stoves are built as part of a wall to heat 2 rooms at once. The kitchen site is where the wood is loaded and the fire is started, and can have places to put your pot so you cook. What is this thing I found on the wall in a house that was built in 1901? The little tabs on each side say hot and cold, and the top middle tab says off. This is located near the kitchen and servants' stairs on the first floor of the house. The house has a basement with a giant old furnace. The home is located in the state of Georgia. I greatly appreciate any help. Pretty sure they're furnace damper controls. There would have been chains attached that controlled the dampers. It looks like the handles might have been removed. Possibly they took out some of the original hardware when they remodeled the house. What is this wooden or rubber stick with a horse head on it? This stick belonged to someone who traveled around the world during the 60s and 70s. It's too short to be a walking stick, only about 50 centimeters long and slightly bendy but not squishy. And it looks like it's made of some rubbery wood. The end tapers but is not sharp. I can't say for certain how old this is. Maybe at least from the 1970s, if not much older. Countries I remember he visited are India, Albania, Australia, Yemen, Greece, Nepal, the Netherlands, and probably Italy. But this thing could be from another land. I already used Google Lens to try and find it, but it's not helpful. Thanks in advance. It's an old horse riding whip. The size seems about right. Horse head decorative handle was pretty common. There are similar old whips for sale on antique auction sites. I found this while clearing the yard. It weighs about 6 pounds. The area has World War II history. Should I call EOD? Please help. Always call local police when it comes to an unexploded ordnance. They'll call EOD for you. As for the round, it looks like an Mk1 shrapnel round, a World War I projectile made by the French and used by Allies. I've responded to several of these in the States. I found this ring in my backyard while doing gardening. After cleaning it, it doesn't look like a normal ring, and I think it's made of gold. It's written 26 July 1822 in the back of the ring, and after searching and asking for the history of this house, it seems like it was owned by a Jewish family, and I am living in Germany. Any ideas? Please leave us a comment. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.